Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0 is the final score at Anfield last night. The Reds taste Premier League victory for the first time in a while. Hey guys, I'm Matty Channel. Welcome to another video. A much happier sight today in the form of a Liverpool victory. Liverpool were victorious at Anfield in the Premier League, stopping the rot of 4 Premier League defeats in a row with a 2-0 victory over Aston Villa. Mohamed Salah and Gravenberch getting on the score sheet as the Reds managed to, like I say, stop the rot and obviously bounce back with a big victory in a game in which, I'll be honest with you, I didn't see Liverpool winning. My Premier League predictions video reflects that. I thought we were going to get bullied by the Aston Villa midfield. I was really worried about this game, in all honesty, but credit where credit is due. I've been very critical of Arne Slot and the Liverpool team over the course of these past few weeks, but I need to give praise and credit where it is due, and it is due today. Arne Slot especially, but the players as well, as we're going to get into. Before we get into all of that and everything else, let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling in the comment section down below. Join the conversation, get involved. Would love to know what you guys are thinking and feeling about the Liverpool performance and the result against Aston Villa last night. And of course, hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, we're going to get on with the conversation ourselves. We're talking about Liverpool, the performance, the result, and everything else in between. So, it was a big win last night. It was a much needed win. It was a non-negotiable win in what is going to be a massive week in the season of Liverpool Football Club. We've obviously got Real Madrid coming up. We've got Manchester City before the international break. It is going to be a monumental week, and Aston Villa was going to pose no easy task, to say the least. We obviously know that they've been on a bit of good run of form themselves. They obviously beat Manchester City last week. We knew we weren't exactly going to be in for an easy game against Villa, but it actually was fairly comfortable. And a large part of that was down to Arne Slot, the way that he set up, and the Liverpool squad for carrying out the basics. Incredible, isn't it? Basics. It sounds so simple, but yet effective when used correctly. First and foremost, I thought he got the team right. I feel I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I know that obviously injuries obviously kind of force his hand a little bit in this. But if you are going to play a midfield three of Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister, you need to play Ekitike rather than Isak. It just works better. And it did work better because everybody had a great game. I've been saying for weeks that he needs to drop Kerkez in favour of Robertson. He did that, and Robertson had a fairly good game, in all honesty. Connor Bradley was better, the defence was better. It was just an all-round brilliant performance by the Reds. Capped off with obviously a victory, 3 points, and a rarity, a clean sheet to boot. Absolutely incredible all-round as far as what Liverpool Football Club are concerned. A fantastic night overall in a game that, like I say, had banana skin written all over it. But it wasn't like Aston Villa tested us. The only time I was worried was the Morgan Rogers shot in the opening 10 minutes where it hit the post. Like, apart from that, those opening 10 minutes where we looked a bit nervy, a bit shaky, it was cruise control from there. It was comfortable. Liverpool didn't look out of place, out of shape. We looked well balanced. We looked solid. We were creating a few decent opportunities. We nullified Aston Villa for the most part. It was actually a really good game from us. Now, I do have to kind of caveat that a little bit. I don't think Aston Villa exploited our weaknesses as much as what they should have done. Now, I don't want to kind of, rain on the parade of Liverpool and this big victory and whatever, but I do feel like we have to be honest about everything overall. And I feel like I have to say that as good as what Liverpool were, I don't think Aston Villa played either to their fullest potential or to exploit the weaknesses that Arne Slot loves to put out there in the media. Like, I don't think there was many long balls or set pieces that really caused Liverpool too much of a problem overall. Not many that exploited those weaknesses anyway. And like I say, barring that Morgan Rogers strike in the first half, Liverpool were pretty comfortable. Mo Salah gets his goal. We threatened before that anyway, and we actually gave them a couple of warning signs. Ekatike actually had the ball in the back of the net before it was correctly ruled out for offside. But it's an absolute gift. It's an absolute gift of a goal. Emi Martinez, poor pass out from the back. Salah's onto it like in a flash, and it's a very well struck, very cool effort, shall we say, from Mo Salah with his right foot to keep it on target, to keep it low, and to obviously fire it into the back of the net to draw Liverpool first blood. And it was a fantastic goal from Mo, a record-breaking goal from Mo. And that's 2-2 now. So fingers crossed that is building his confidence in what is going to be a busy month before, of course, he goes away for international duty with Egypt in the AFCON. So fingers crossed that is maybe seeing him getting back on all cylinders, because apart from the goal, Salah actually had a really, really good game. And that's big in itself. Sometimes Salah can mask certain poor performances with a goal or an assist. In this situation, he played well and got a goal. So it was actually really good from Mo Salah. In the second half, Liverpool controlled the game very, very well. Again, we nullified Villa to the barest of minimums, but we needed to obviously kill the game off, and we eventually did. Slight bit of luck with a deflection, but Ryan Gravenberch gets a great goal. Again, he makes all the difference in that midfield. He is so, so good. And he gets a goal. That's his third for the season now, which is absolutely incredible from his goal scoring standards of years gone by. So yeah, fair play to Ryan Gravenberch. He was absolutely, again, he was insane. He was absolutely insane in the game. He was brilliant. I thought him and Szoboszlai were the standout performers. They were excellent throughout the entirety of the game. Like, I feel like there was not really like a performer in Liverpool colours that was like poor or average by any stretch of the imagination. But I did think that Szoboszlai and Gravenberch stood out very, very well. Like I say, Salah was great. Ekatike, I thought was great as well. Didn't score, but I thought he had a really, really good game. Especially in the second half. Second half, he was just absolutely loving life out there. And you could see it not just through him, but through the entire team, that once the first goal went in, you felt the crowd throughout the game get behind the players. And it just seemed like a completely different team to what we've seen before. The setup was completely different. The belief was slowly growing in those players. The confidence was growing back. I mean, Salah was taking one or two players on again. Ekatike was doing these little flicks and tricks and layoffs. Gakpo was joining in as well a little bit. And you just saw the belief just grow in those players to the point where they're like, hang on, we've just rediscovered what we can actually do in this team, with this team. Something that obviously we've not seen all season, or at least not in consistent doses. So it was great to see that. Like I say, the setup was different. The press was there. That was one thing I was really impressed with. Like, our pressing off the ball was there. We hadn't seen that. We have not seen that. I don't know where that's gone. I don't know why Slot decided to stop it. But the press was actually there in that game, and it was one thing that I really enjoyed seeing, because the hunger and the desire was seemingly back. McAllister had one of his best games for a while. The midfield worked perfectly. The defence was solid. The attack was creating opportunities. Mamardashvili didn't really have anything really of note to do in goal, apart from maybe 1 or 2 saves in the first half. But yeah, like, it was a very good all-round performance from Liverpool. One that I was a little bit shocked at, in all honesty, because I was under the impression that Arne Slot was not learning from his mistakes. Now, again, I'm not going to go ahead and jump the gun a little bit. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I understand that it is one game. But it is a very good game in which we have now built the platform to build upon. We now should be building on this performance, getting better and better and better, and working out that, okay, when Isak is back, maybe we can try and bleed in Isak and Wirtz into this team slowly but surely. But for now, Ekatike works with this midfield. Ekatike works with McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch. That as a 4 works with obviously Salah on the right, Gakpo on the left, and whatever choice of defenders you need. It just works. Like I say, everything was right today. Everything was right today. Did Aston Villa kind of play into our hands a little bit? Yes. But the press was there. And you could tell that because every time Aston Villa tried to play out, we were on them in a flash. We were just on them from the start, and we never let them have time to breathe. Yes, there were 1 or 2 moments where they played through us and played through the press, but I wasn't expecting it to be perfect. I wasn't expecting it to be immaculate, our game plan, because I understand that there are still some teething issues. But going back to the tried and tested sort of lineup other than 1 or 2 players, going back to sort of what we know, our kind of bread and butter, our kind of like DNA of how we've played in previous years, I think was the way to go. And now we've got that, like I say, we can start to bleed in new players a bit more as time progresses. Get the confidence back into the team, bleed them in slowly, give them 20, 30, 40 minutes here and there. And like I say, just bleed them in slowly. There was no point trying to rush things too quick too soon. So if we can just do that, the progression of this team is going to going forward. It's going to be something that hopefully we look back on and go, this was the turning point. This game against Aston Villa was the turning point where we went, right, we messed up the first bit of the season, but now is where we actually start to go through the gears, and this is where we start to turn up, and this is where we start to show what we're all about, why we put so much investment in the summer, and what the overall big idea and big plan is for Liverpool Football Club going forward. What I will say on Arne Slot is, like I say, he got it right tonight. Fair play. I'm not going to like flip-flop on my stance. If you've been watching my videos this past week, you'll know where I stand on Arne Slot. I'm not going to flip-flop based on just one performance and one result. He now has to prove to me that this was not a one-off. This was not a fluke. This was not a performance of desperation. This is actually a genuine, legitimate thing going forward that is going to be consistent, and until he's proven that, I will not be changing my mind. That's just my stance on it. I said the same thing after Frankfurt. After Frankfurt, I was like, you need to prove to me that you can still be that kind of adaptable, flexible manager that adapts to any and every opponent, whilst also getting it right, whether it be going into the game or whether it be in the game. He has to get his management absolutely spot on for me to change my opinion. Last night was a fantastic start, but it obviously needs to be consistent. There's no point going to Real Madrid and getting absolutely slapped by the Spanish side if we're not also playing well. If we go back to how we were against Brentford, against Chelsea, Galatasaray, Man United, Crystal Palace on both occasions, then there's no point. Otherwise, this is just the 21-22 season all over again. No, wait, no, wrong one. This is This is just the 2020-2021 season all over again, with a couple of good performances here and there, but nothing consistent to really thrive off. No, I'll get the season right eventually. It's late. This is just a 22-23 season all over again. A couple of good performances here and there, but nothing consistent. Like, I don't want that to be this season. I still want something special out of this season. Do I think we'll go on and win the league from this point? Still no. I think Arsenal have pretty much got that wrapped up even at this early stage with how incredible they look defensively and how offensively they're probably only going to get stronger. But I think for us, we can obviously hang in there for as long as possible, but we may need to put our eggs in other baskets. FA Cup, Champions League. I'd still be happy with the Champions League, making it 7. But, you know, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, like I say. This is just one result. I'm happy. I'm happy with Stop the Rot. I'm happy that we got the win. I'm happy that they went out there and proved me wrong, from the coach to the players. We did the basics right. We did our pressing game. Our pressing game was back, which was really, really, really effective. We took our chances, and defensively we looked calm. Like I say, do I think Aston Villa played as well as they could have done? Do I feel like Aston Villa exploited our weaknesses to the best of their ability? Absolutely not. Was that partially down to us? Yes. Was that partially down to them playing poor? I also think yes. Not to kind of rain on it too much or kind of put a dampener on it, but that's just the annoying thing in my head that I'm feeling. But no, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that we got the win. It's actually quite nice to talk about a Premier League victory again for the first time since, I believe, the Merseyside derby, I think. So that's really, really big in of itself. We move on now, like I say, massive week ahead. Real Madrid coming up, then Manchester City. Massive week before the international break. We need good performances. We need good wins. Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to go into those games with a little bit more confidence, a little bit of momentum on our side than what we would have done if obviously this had turned out to be another disaster. But yeah, it is what it is. We go into those games, and I'm looking forward to it a little bit more than what I was before. Still worried, still a little nervous, still intrigued. But yeah, a little bit more confident than what I was. But overall, fantastic performance all round. Great individual performances from certain players as well. Salah gets his goal. Gravenberch gets a goal. Liverpool get 3 points. Liverpool get a clean sheet. Still haven't changed my mind to flip-flop on Slot because, you know, I lost in the next 1 or 2 games and I could be back there again. So I'm not going to like flip-flop or anything, and not yet anyway. But he did really well. He did really well to kind of try and attempt to bring me back on side with him and the team. So I'm all for Liverpool Football Club. I'm not for one certain individual or any individuals for that matter. So that is the bottom line here. But yes, Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0 is how it finished last night at Anfield. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down in the comment section below. Use and abuse that section, people. Talk to me on the performance, the result, and everything else in between. Also, get involved with hitting the like button on the way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another not so instant match reaction to Liverpool's 2-0 victory over Aston Villa. And I will see you speak all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you again very, very soon.